folks. We're up here at Roosevelt Lake. The lake is about 20-25 miles long right now. It's down probably 50% or 60%, and we have a beautiful morning. We're starting out with topwater lures this morning. Everybody likes throwing topwater lures. This is the order that I like to throw these baits. I like to throw the Vixen first because it's the biggest and the loudest. Usually catches the biggest fish. They don't make this anymore. Paycheck makes it, but they bought them out. But this is the old Vixen. Chartreuse on the top, clear on the bottom. I like to throw the gunfish as I start narrowing down. It's got a lot of BBs in it. It's small profile. It's a walking bait, spits. It's got the cupped front on there, and only 2 hooks. I catch a lot of fish on this. I've had this lure for a long time, but one of my favorite. And I throw the Rico last. It's called the Bleeding Shad. That's just my preference, folks. And I use the Rico last because as the sun comes up, it seems to catch the most fish when the bite's off. There's one. There's one right there. Nice. Finally got one to come up, folks. These are nice fish. They're not. This one's not a gigantic one, but it's a nice fish. He wanted it. He ate the whole thing. Here we go. Look at that. Beautiful fish in the water. The water's so clear down here by the dam. Okay. There was one right under him too. Boy, make sure that there's a picture of him. Good old Rico. Little 1.5-pound fish. Whoops, got a little blood on him. A little blood all over. Didn't see that. All right, there's one down. Let's try another one. We found a little bit of shade behind this mountain. I caught that fish just dead sticking it. Dead sticking is throwing it out and just letting it sit there, not doing nothing. And I'm just barely pulling it when I do pull it. So I throw this out by the shore, and I'm just gonna let those rings just disappear. They don't want this thing moved very much. So I'm just gonna pull it like that and let it sit there. Just barely move it. Kind of just teases them that something's just on the top swimming. Got that fish right off of where all those big rocks are right there that you're looking at. Sometimes there's a couple fish at the same place, so we'll go ahead and throw right back over there off that point right there and try that again. Boy, topwater is fun. If you can get them to hit, it's a blast catching fish. I think that's just about everybody's best way to catch a fish. But the best fishing is right away in the morning, as soon as you get out here at 5 o'clock in the morning. So you got to be launching your boat about 4:30, 4:45. That thing came about 4 or 5 feet off the bank. I'm sitting in 21 feet of water right now. So I'm gonna guess those things aren't right up on the shore. I mean, every once in a while you'll get one, and I'm making cast up on the bank, but where they're hitting is a little bit further out. And that's the way it's been for the last month. You know, You just pull it out about 8 or 9 feet. Then you just kind of let it sit there. They can see that thing a long distance, 10, 15 feet away. They can hear it, and they can see it. It gets that close. I'm just gonna reel it in and fire out another one. There we go. This riprap here by the dam is perfect. Nice big chunky rocks. There's some old dead trees still left here. Been in the lake for a long time, 30, 40, 50 years. These old manzanitas, they're just hard to disintegrate and kill. Got another shade pocket right up there. Right in the shade. Throw it out. It's painfully slow. Get a little pop. It's fun to watch them come up and hit and just swirl and splash at it. Well, I tell you folks, when you're up here during the week, you got the lake to yourself. There's only one other boat on the lake. That I've seen so far. Haven't even heard any boats. Just beautiful, a beautiful, beautiful lake. Got a real pretty sky with all the clouds coming in. Got to let some wind coming in tomorrow. They got a high forecast of wind. Just kind of keep moving down the shoreline just to see. There's a lot of good area to cover down through here. It's nice and steep. Just never know where you're going to catch one. There's a fish. Oh yeah, way away from the boat, folks, way away. Probably was 20 feet off the bank. Just moving it real slow. Whoa, come on up, baby. Come on. Boy, these fish fight hard. It's just such blast catching these fish. Okay, go ahead and jump and get off. Guess he's not going to do it. Just be real careful on hooking these things. Just a nice healthy bass again. Little Rico, look how little that is compared to that fish. Beautiful little bass. Boy, they're fun to catch. Just caught him right, just working real slow. It's already been a couple hours since the sun came up. 2 hours. But if you can learn how to catch them after the sun comes up, then it's just slow, just real slow. Everybody quits throwing topwater now because they're not biting, real fast. Just, that's the way it is with the bite on everything you do, whether I'm worming or Carolina rigging or jigging or something. You've got to figure those bass out. They get in these weird moods, and you know, when they want to feed, I don't care what you throw in there, a brush hog, a worm, or whatever, drop shot, they'll eat it. But when they don't want to feed, or they're done feeding for the night, then you gotta give them something that's unusual for them to hit. I got to see that one come up way out of deep water and hit this. One thing I can say, folks, is boy, I tell you, when you do this and after the sun comes up for a couple hours, you just got to be patient, just throwing it out there and just clicking your reel and doing something, you know, talking to your buddy or something, and not paying attention. You know, it's real slow. Just once you figure out how far away from the shore those fish are biting, then you can get dialed in, you know, and catch more fish. That one came, the first one we caught up there came about 5 feet from the bank. This one came 20 feet from the bank, so. I'm just kind of going real slow with the trolling motor. And just keep it right in the target area. I'll pull out a little bit further. I'm sitting in 21, 22 feet of water, but that's not where I'm catching the fish. I don't care if it's 100 feet of water here. Don't let your non-boater on the back tell you, oh, I'm in 100 feet of water. You're not fishing in 100 feet of water. You're fishing in 5 feet of water, 10 feet of water. Doesn't matter what your boat's sitting in. It can be a sheer drop off. I mean, we're fishing down by the dam. So we're just moving along here. This looks like a nice little rounded corner here. A lot of times this is what they like. They like these little rounded corners. There we go. Nice and slow. And you do lose a lot of fish on topwater. It's kind of neat just to see them slap it and hit it, but the first 2 or 3 that I had do that this morning real early, before David even had the camera, those all got off. One of them I caught, but it was a small one anyway, real small. Whoa! Whoa, we got a good one here, folks. Nice little fat one. Coming up, coming up. I've learned my, oh, it's gonna jump. Whoa, that was a nice jump. Oh boy, he wanted that. Look at that Rico down his mouth. Oh yeah. Here we go. Oh my gosh, wait till you see this Rico stuck in his mouth. I'm not gonna lift. I'm just gonna lift this up without. Holy mackerel. Folks, look at, you don't think he wanted that bait this morning? That is really deep down there. He was hungry. He sucked that thing way down there. That's a nice chunky fish, close to 3 pounds. Okay. So I'm gonna just very delicately just unhook that. That just came right out. No blood. That's a nice fat fish. Topwater. 2.5 hours after the sun came up. If you have patience, this is what you can catch. So we'll keep on going. Got a nice, already fattening up after he spawned. Got some blood on his tail still on this side. Look how rough his tail is. So he had spawned. So let's just let this little baby go. Well, there you go, baby. Swim away. You know, sometimes where you think the fish are gonna be, they're not. And where you think they're not gonna be, they are. So, you know, just places like that just look so good with those rocks coming down and coming in the water and stuff like that. I like these big boulders and this big old chunk rock too, but you just never know where that fish is gonna be. That thing could be anywhere up there on that riprap. You just gotta keep moving, folks. Just, that's what it's all about. Just some of my biggest fish I've ever caught have been back in this cove back here. There's a strike. Oh my gosh. This has got some weight to it. Holy mackerel, he's running way out in the lake to deep water. That's usually what happens, folks, when you get a big fish like this. I don't know how big he is. He's pulling hard. He's down quite a ways away from the boat, heading out. Just reel him in slow. Could be going down deep and don't want to give him the bends. It's coming up. Coming up. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. He's so fat he can't even come out of the water. I'm not going to jerk this in the oh gosh. Holy mackerel. That's a good 5 pounds, folks. Look at that baby. Whew. That's a good fish. Topwater. That was on a Rico. All right. Let him go. Goodbye, baby. You know, as I work this bait, you know, sometimes you have to stop it, start it, you know, and dead stick it and stuff. Oh gosh. Think about dead sticking. He just came up and sucked that in. He's coming up. This is on that vixen. That's a nice fish. Big old vixen hanging out of his mouth. Oh, come here, little guy. Actually, he's not so little. He's a pretty fat fish. Yeah, boy. You definitely don't want to get, man, these fish, hooks in your hand, that's for sure. Nasty hooks, sharp. That's a vixen fish, not a popper or a little one. This was on a big bait, big long bait. So let me show that to you. These have a lot of rattles in them. Nice. Okay, we'll let this little jewel go. Goodbye, baby. It's amazing. This dam was finished in 1911. Theodore Roosevelt, who the lake is named after, President Theodore Roosevelt, dedicated this dam to Arizona. They started working on this dam like in 1903. Took that many years, 1904, 1905, somewhere back in there. And to dam this up and actually get this done. And you can see how they shored up lots of highway and mountains with these rocks up here. A lot of history. Well, folks, we've made it all the way to the dam. We fished the shoreline all the way from the houses, the SRP houses, all the way to the dam. We've caught topwater fish, caught some big ones, small ones, and I think it's about time to quit. It's 8:15 in the morning. The sun is really, really high. I've noticed on my graph that the fish are going pretty deep, you know. We've been using the 3 lures I told you, the Rico, the Gunfish, and the Vixen. So with this, we're going to end the show here and go off on my adventures on doing something else. But thank you for watching our show, our videos. And with this, we'll say goodbye.